Operation Market Garden is seen as one of the heroic failures of World War II. The plan, as devised by Field Marshal Sir Bernard Montgomery and his staff of the 21st Army Group, consisting of British, Canadian and Polish divisions to the north of the Allied line, was daring and brilliant, though overly ambitious, and if successful would probably have shortened the war in Europe by several months. In essence, Monty's plan was to use British, American and Polish paratroopers and glider-borne troops to seize and hold a series of road and rail bridges deep behind German lines in the Netherlands. These units would then be relieved, in turn, by the British 30 Corps advancing rapidly. The key to the plan was the last bridge at Arnhem on the River Rhine, and from Arnhem Monty's forces would cross the Rhine, bypassing the strong Siegfried Line defences and strike deep into Germany. That was the plan. And now a quick word from our sponsor. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. Play more than 2,000 tanks, aircraft, helicopters and ships in dynamic combined arms PvP battles. As an historian, I appreciate that the vehicles in War Thunder span over 100 years of development, from the 1920s to the present day. Every vehicle is incredibly detailed and modeled, offering a highly immersive combat experience. War Thunder has incredible graphics and detail in 4K resolution to create the immersion you need. Play War Thunder now on PC, PlayStation or Xbox using the link on the screen. You receive a large, free bonus pack for registering using my personalized link, including multiple premium vehicles, premium account, boosters and much more. The first bridge at Eindhoven was captured on the 8th of September 1944 by the US 101st Airborne Division. The next were the two bridges at Nijmegen, captured the same day by the US 82nd Airborne Division. The prize, Arnhem, was given to the British 1st Airborne Division, supported by the 1st Polish Parachute Brigade. But here the plan failed. Forced to use drop zones 7 miles from the bridge, the British lost the element of surprise. Wireless communications didn't work, hampering command and control, and German resistance was very strong, much stronger than anticipated. Though one battalion of the Parachute Regiment managed to seize and hold one end of the Great Road Bridge at Arnhem, 30 Corps took far longer than the 2 days it had been allotted to advance 62 miles behind German lines, and after 4 heroic days, the British paratroopers at Arnhem, out of ammo, exhausted and with significant casualties, were overrun by the SS and forced to surrender. And there the story normally ends. Market Garden had failed to achieve its primary objective and the Germans had won. But what happened afterwards? The Allies still controlled a corridor of Dutch territory leading up to Nijmegen. The Allied bridgehead was a major threat to the German defences and had to be eliminated. The area between the Rhine and Vaal rivers became a new front line, called the Island by the Allies. It was decided following the evacuations of the remnants of the British 1st Airborne Division on the night of the 25th to 26th of September 1944 to reinforce and hold the island. A series of tussles developed between British forces and the Germans for some villages, resulting in some hard local fights. The British beachhead north of the Vaal River was viewed with great alarm by Generalfeldmarschall Walter Model, commander of Army Group B. Model believed the Allies could use the area as a springboard for a fresh offensive north, to cut off the German 15th Army in the western Netherlands and threaten a breakout onto the North German plain, which was ideal country for British tanks. Model knew that he had to act quickly before the Allies built up strength in the island and couldn't be expelled. On the 25th of September, Hitler had ordered Model to destroy the Allies in the Arnhem-Nijmegen area. Model therefore instructed SS Obergruppenführer Wilhelm Bittrich of the 2nd SS Panzer Corps, the 2 divisions having already defeated Operation Market Garden, to attack the Allied salient between the Rhine and the Vaal rivers from the north and east. The 10th SS Panzer Division was already fully engaged in battling the British on the island, so Bittrich and 116th Panzer Divisions for the fresh offensive. Dietrich's other SS Panzer Division, the 9th Hohenstaufen, had been badly mauled fighting the British in the Arnhem area and had been pulled out of the line to Paderborn in Germany for rest and refitting. On the 27th of September, the 12th SS Corps also assumed command of all German Nijmegen, and the 12th SS Corps on the north bank of the Rhine west of Arnhem, stretching to Kerstern and Ochten. The German offensive would see all three Army Corps launch coordinated attacks to cut off the large Allied force at Nijmegen and destroy it. One of the attack's major objectives was to capture and destroy the road bridge at Nijmegen, originally captured by the US 82nd Airborne Division during Market Garden, thereby severely hampering the Allied supply build-up for its feared fresh offensive into the area across the Rhine into Germany. Model ordered that the road and rail bridges at Nijmegen be destroyed just before the German offensive began to mess up the ability of the Allies to supply their salient and resist his attack. Mass air assaults were attempted but failed. British anti-aircraft fire and RAF fighters decimated the Luftwaffe. Naval frogmen were employed next. On the 28th of September 1944, 3 groups of 4 frogmen each swam 10 kilometers down the river, carrying large mines. One span of the railway bridge was successfully dropped into the river, rendering the structure unusable, but the attack on the road bridge did little damage. I've covered this in a separate video, link in the end screen. The Germans faced other problems too. Fuel shortages and incessant Allied air attack meant it took longer than planned to assemble divisions for the assault. Not every unit, in fact, managed to arrive on time, and commanders were forced to form ad hoc Kampfgruppen or battle groups with whatever was available. However, some strong support was available, the 9th Panzer Division being reinforced by the 506th Heavy Panzer Battalion, equipped with King Tiger tanks. The counter-offensive began on the 30th of September 1944. The first assault was made by 70 German tanks and about a division's worth of infantry against British positions at Bemmel. The Germans were repelled with heavy losses, particularly from very big artillery concentrations that the British could call upon. Another smaller operation saw German infantry crossing the Rhine in rubber boats at Dorwert Castle near Driel. These men were massacred. The 11th SS Panzer Corps main assault began on the 1st of October against 4 dug-in British infantry battalions. Kampfgruppe Volkers, with King Tiger's support and advancing behind a creeping barrage, attacked Hemmel. It battled the 7th Battalion, the Green Howards, all day long, which was supported by the 3rd Battalion, the Irish Guards. At Elst, the 4th Battalion, the Somersets, beat back the German assault. Back at Bemmel, on the afternoon of the 1st of October, the Germans tried again, using 2 battle groups made up of the 21st and 22nd SS Panzergrenadier regiments of the 10th SS Panzer Division. The 22nd SS Panzergrenadiers struck the right flank of Bemmel, held by the 6th Battalion, the Highland Light Infantry, a green unit, and completely new to battle. The Highlanders held their ground, and British artillery once again helped to smash up the German attack. At the village of Arm, Kampfgruppe Reich, a mostly infantry force from the 10th Panzergrenadier Regiment, suffered heavy casualties as it assaulted the Irish Guards, but was fought to a standstill. In the late afternoon, the Green Howards were relieved by a battalion from the East Yorkshire Regiment, whilst under severe German infantry, tank and artillery fire. The Germans lost 8 panzers during the engagement, with several tanks bogged down and abandoned. One Tiger II was eventually knocked out after being hit 5 times at close range by Piat rounds. In the evening, a strong German assault, supported by King Tigers and Panther tanks, struck British positions north of the town of Elst, held by the 4th Somersets. This failed, while the neighbouring 5th Battalion, the Wiltshire Regiment, who was supported by direct fire from 5.5-inch guns of the Royal Artillery, knocked out several German tanks. The next day, the Germans tried again, hitting the Irish Guards at Arm. The German infantry was supported by 8 Panther tanks. Though they managed to overrun some of the forward positions, 3 of the Panthers were knocked out and the German attack petered out. The same day, the British used their overwhelming air superiority to try and disrupt the German military build-up of forces south of Arnhem that was preparing to attack towards Nijmegen. Typhoon fighter bombers forced the Germans to hide in woods all day long and only move about during the night time. Ferry sites and German artillery batteries were also struck hard, and the Arnhem rail bridge was hit. 24 B-25 Mitchell bombers dropped bombs on the town of Huizen, levelling it and unfortunately killing 106 Dutch civilians as well as many Germans. Other small Dutch towns and villages were similarly attacked and badly damaged. Field Marshal Mordell ordered that the counteroffensive be resumed, but Bietrich knew that the British were too strong to be dislodged. In fact, some company and battalion commanders refused to order further frontal attacks that were plainly suicidal. However, some assaults were made on the 2nd of October, with predictable results. At Elst, on the night of the 2nd to 3rd of October, German infantry was slaughtered, particularly by heavy artillery concentrations. British local counterattacks resulted in 80 Germans being taken prisoner. On the 4th of October, a fresh German unit, Kampfgruppe Zander, assaulted Driel, supported again by Panther tanks. The 1st Battalion, the Dorsetshire Regiment, repulsed them. The British were everywhere holding their ground, but they were hard-pressed. On the 3rd of October, SS Panzergrenadiers assaulted the area of Heuvel, preceded by a heavy 20-minute German artillery barrage. The 2nd Devons and the 1st Hampshires were heavily pressed, but supported by tanks of the 1st Coldstream Guards, who forced the Germans back. The British now counterattacked on the 4th of October. Heuvel was attacked by the 1st Dorsets and taken along with 100 SS prisoners, Dorsets losing 89 men killed and wounded. The 9th Battalion, the Durham Light Infantry, with Sherman tank support, assaulted Baal, beating off a German panzer counterattack. At Halderen, the 6th Battalion, Bietrich had to admit that so far his offensive had failed to make an impression on the British defences. He decided therefore to change the focus of his attack to the right flank, the 11th Panzer Corps, near the Lower Rhine at Driel. Here, British troops had been relieved by US troops, the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, being brought forward from Eindhoven. They were supported by British artillery and some British infantry. On the evening of the 5th of October, elements of the 116th Panzer Division attacked British forces, being defeated. The positions were then handed over to the 506th US paratroopers. At Driel, the 506th was attacked by the 116th Panzer Division by a Kampfgruppe supported by 2 Stug 3 assault guns. A British artillery gun firing over open sights knocked out one of the Stugs, and the 506th managed to surround and capture 2 entire companies of German Panzergrenadiers. The 506th positions were also attacked at Randwijk, this battle famously involving Easy Company of Band of Brothers fame. An Easy Company platoon of just 35 men routed 2 German infantry companies of 300 men, losing only 1 killed and 22 wounded. The Americans killed about 50 Germans, wounded about 100 and captured 11. On the 6th of October, 506th paratroopers, supported by British artillery, were engaged in very fierce fighting, taking 150 Germans prisoner and killing about 300. At Aufhuizen, on the morning of the 6th of October, the 506th positions were assaulted by units of the 362nd Volksgrenadier Division, the Germans taking the village. A counterattack was launched, with the US paratroopers supported by men of the Duke of Cornwall's light infantry and tanks of the Royal Scots Greys. After 3 days of intense combat, the Americans withdrew, but the Germans couldn't hold their positions in the village as it was pounded to ruins by RAF Typhoons using rockets and British artillery concentrations. On the 7th of October, US Martin Marauder bombers managed to collapse the Arnhem Road Bridge, which meant that Dietrich couldn't bring forward any more of his tanks and artillery. The Nijmegen counteroffensive was over. The German forces were left crippled, with heavy manpower and tank losses. British infantry losses were also extremely high. The Allies therefore stopped further attempts to enlarge the Nijmegen bridgehead. The SS now established strong defensive positions south of Arnhem. The panzer divisions were pulled off the line and sent to fight the Americans around Aachen. German infantry and paratroopers took over their positions. There were several later German attacks in this sector. On the 4th of December 1944, the German 16th Parachute Regiment launched a direct assault on the British position at Halderen. The leading company lost 160 men killed and the attack was repulsed. Then, on the 18th of January 1945, in the midst of the Ardennes offensive raging further south, the German 7th Parachute Regiment assaulted Zetten. For several days, the Fallschirmjäger battled British infantry and Canadian tanks, but their assault failed, losing 700 men killed, wounded, and taken prisoner. It was only in April 1945 that the Allies finally got across the Rhine at Arnhem, when British and Canadian forces pushed the weakened German defenders back. Play War Thunder now on PC, PlayStation or Xbox using the link on the screen. Remember, you receive a large, free bonus pack for registering using my personalized link, including multiple premium vehicles, premium account, boosters and much more. War Thunder, get it now! Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.